You always hear that hard work is important. That anything else otherwise is being lazy. But isn't it amazing how others always want you to work as hard as you can? But then these same people are always trying to make things easier for themselves? Honestly, do you think that anyone out there strives to work hard for hard work's sake? Aiming to toil more and more each day? I mean, is anyone hoping and dreaming about dealing with tedious, repetitive, and grueling work over and over and over again in order to make each day of their existence meaningful? And when you see someone wealthy, do you ever see them toiling away so that they can make a better situation for somebody else? No. You always see them surrounding themselves with people who are working hard, just so they don't have to lift a goddamn finger. I bet my two nuts, my two sweet goddamn nuts, that anyone who tells you that you need to work harder is actually hoping that you'll in some way be a slave to a process which makes their life easier. Like, they hope if you work harder, they'll feel better about themselves. And they won't then have to work hard to deal with their own issues or situations, because they can then live vicariously through you. Or even more insidious, they hope that you'll just straight up work to give them more possessions and power, making life easier for them. What it boils the fuck down to is slavery versus godliness. If you can only achieve your best because you're working hard for someone else, you become a slave. But if you can satisfy yourself by doing as little as you have to for yourself, you approach godliness. Yet somehow we're brainwashed into thinking that achieving godliness is bad and being a slave is good. Take, for example, what many claim to be the highest epitome of laziness: playing video games. But think, when you play a video game, do you turn it on and not lift a finger? Do you watch the game just play itself and then just sit through the closing scenes and credits without having done jack shit? No, right? I mean, aren't you trying to get the tightest level of control you can on your interactions in the game? Aren't you training your mind to master a level, solve a puzzle, win a race, or to defeat an opponent? And might you also, in order to improve yourself, invest a lot of time researching and practicing the game so you can get better? So why is playing video games then seen as being lazy rather than work? The reason is because it's not lazy. It's just that someone else doesn't like the idea that you are pursuing an endeavor that suits to benefit you and your sense of accomplishment, as opposed to somebody else's place in the world. Sounds like brainwashing to me. I mean, There's nothing wrong with sacrificing yourself for a greater good. But shouldn't you then get some of that fucking good along the way? And if it all goes to someone else, why is this fucking good? And if someone would ever go out of their way to say to your face, you need to work harder, shouldn't they then, at minimum, then equally work harder for you so that they can also increase the greater good as well? So, don't let anyone else, and I mean anyone else, ever criticize you for being lazy. Instead, tell them, I'm just fine being lazy, and I'm going to strive for godliness. But if you love hard work so much, why don't you be the goddamn slave? Go work yourself